room. So we are live on social media. This is Multifamily Masters Live. We do this every month, third Wednesday of the month. I messed up. I pushed it back a week. This is the fourth Wednesday. Next month, it's the third Wednesday of the month. Today we have four RockStar Capital Raisers. Dr. Hua Nguyen, Dr. Aaron Hudson, Mr. Venkat Arumali, and Mr. Trevor Thompson. I have my co-host, my main business partner, Miss Elsa Nguyen, who I'm trying to get her to co-host several of these with me in the future. And I have Mr. Tim Mai, who is a rockstar networker. So with that being said, my name is Garrison Gilbert. We are Multifamily Masters. We have 50 different Facebook groups. MultifamilyMasters.com is our main Facebook group with almost 10,000 members. We have 60 meetups across the country. We have a mastermind. And we do these Multifamily Masters live once a month, third Wednesday of the month. We're a social media company in general. My goal is to push out as much valuable content as possible. I simply do not think that anyone should be paying $20,000 or $30,000, and that's going to piss a lot of these gurus off, and I don't care. But I don't think you should have to spend $20,000 to $30,000 for coaching. Our goal at Multifamily Masters is to provide something extremely affordable, free, and we're going to network our face off. We're going to hang out with individuals that we want to hang out with. We're going to hang out with people who eat, breathe, and sleep real estate. And without further ado, tonight we have four RockStar Capital Raisers, people that took capital raising to the next level, people that focus on capital raising. If you did not know this, if you are in, let me accept a couple of these individuals.
I'll handle all the exception.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. We're up to 111 on Zoom. We got another handful on social media. If you registered for this event, we have 1,600 registrants. We will send you the recording. So with that being said, tonight, capital raising. I put this panel together because I want to pick their brains, because I want to ask them questions. If you're watching this, write down, jot down, put it in the comments, whatever you want to do. Just be prepared to ask your questions. It's not often that we get this caliber of talent in the same room. These are the people you want to hang out with. Real quick, I'll start off with my main co-host, Miss Elsa Nguyen. She is my main business partner because she's the opposite of me. She loves the network. She loves happy hours. She loves going out, having coffee, doing that type of thing. She's a great capital raiser, and she's very detail oriented. She lives in California. I live in Florida. And because of that, we're able to do a lot of good stuff together. I don't want a business partner who's exactly like me. Number one. Number two, I have our guest co-host for tonight, Mr. Tim Mai. Tim Mai is a rockstar networker. He interviews some of the biggest hitters across the country in real estate, from everything from capital raising to doing deals, to doing syndications, to operating properties, to X, Y, Z, you name it. Tim's face is everywhere. If you don't know him, you need to know him. If you're not friends with him on social media, reach out to him. He's throwing an awesome capital raising event this September in Houston. CapitalRaisingSummit.com. Tim, throw that link in the comments below just so we have it. And our four panelists tonight are killers. They know how to raise capital. And capital raising isn't just about having a drink, going and grabbing a coffee. Capital raising is about automation systems, technology, utilizing your CRM, creating email sequences, creating drip campaigns, nurturing your leads, turning that cold lead into a warm lead, that warm lead into a hot relationship. And when people feel comfortable with you, you plant that seed. You never ask for capital. I could be wrong. They might say different, but my opinion is you never ask for capital. You plant that seed. You tell people what you're doing. You naturally get people excited. They want to invest with you. And I'm sure that these four rock stars have all kinds of systems and automations that I can't even comprehend. So with that being said, Dr. Hua Nguyen, real estate investor, 8 years, 27 syndications. Think about that, 27 syndications. 3 land development deals, and she's raised over $36 million. That's a lot of capital. And we're going to let her introduce herself here in a minute. I'm here to brag about these people more than they're probably going to brag about themselves. We have Dr. Aaron Hudson, someone I've been friends with for a long time. She's very strategic. She's very resourceful. $200 million asset under management, and she's raised over $41 million, and she's just getting started. She went from being a doctor in the chiropractic field, and I only say that because I know her, And now she is an expert RockStar Capital Raiser, and a lot of people trust her with their investments. And then we have Mr. Venkat Arumale, real estate investor for 5 years, acquired $40 million worth of real estate, currently has $58 million worth of real estate under contract, and he's raised over $10 million. And last but not least, a good friend of mine, someone who I respect, someone who I consider a brother of mine, someone who has invested into our deals specifically, Mr. Trevor Thompson. If you're on social media, if you go to conferences and you don't know Trevor, you're not going to conferences and you're not on social media, because that dude's face is absolutely everywhere. He's the most genuine, sweet, nice guy that you could ever meet. He's gone full cycle on 7 deals. He's raised over $5 million, and his superpower is 100% networking and social media. So with that being said, Miss Elsa Nguyen, do you want to give a real quick 30-second intro about yourself and then hand it off to Tim? Let Tim do a real quick 30 to 60-second intro. And then Tim, you can hand it off, and we'll start with Dr. Hua Nguyen, only because I can pronounce that name perfectly. Let her go ahead, introduce herself, and then we'll get this party started. Anyone who's watching this, if you got questions, throw them in the comments below. If you got questions on social media, throw them in the comments below. Pick their brains, utilize these resources. We are MultifamilyMasters.com. We are Multifamily Masters Live. Let's rock and roll. Go ahead, Miss Elsa.
Thank you, Garrison. I only get 30 seconds. My name is Elsa Nguyen. I've been doing this syndication since 2019. We have a little over $40 million assets under management, and I partner with Garrison Gilbert on pretty much 100% of my deals now. That's about it. 30 seconds. I'm going to hand it over to Tim.
Awesome. All right, Tim Mai. So I am probably the newest guy on the block when it comes to our panel here. I've been in real estate for 21 years now, but most of that has been in single family, in syndications. I just got in here last year, and I am mostly in LPs, but I did my first GP deal. So total 2,800 units, like I said, mostly as an LP. And then, yeah, I started a Facebook group. We have over 3,000 members now. We started a weekly virtual meetup that has gotten over 2,000 people registered for that. And my capital raising summit coming up. So I've been super active. I haven't worked this hard in a long time, I can tell you that. So with that, well, I'll turn it over to you.
Go ahead, Dr. Hua, tell us all about you.
Hello, everyone. So I am based in Dallas, Fort Worth, been here for the past 17 years, lived in Houston prior to that. So the bulk of my portfolio is in Texas, heavy in Houston and heavy in DFW, because those are in the backyard of where I live. Multifamily is my sweet spot, 27 apartment communities. 11 of those I'm a GP in. And then I do land development where we're doing new construction on multifamily and mixed use as well. But 600 million assets under management. I've been really blessed to have really good partners and been really able to scale the past few years very rapidly. And so building capital raising systems, like Garrison mentioned, is very essential to do it efficiently. But thank you for everyone.
Hold up. Did you say 600 million assets under management? Did I hear that right or wrong?
Yes.
That's $500 million. Think about that, people. $500 million. Wow. Good for you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Let's go with Dr. Erin Hudson. Give us a quick 30, 60-second breakdown, sister.
Awesome. It is such a pleasure to be here amongst you mighty fine folks. I will tell you, we are in the greatest space ever with so much opportunity, but it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Mom of 5 kids, as he said, previously was a doctor, had a couple wellness centers, and I was tired of paying Uncle Sam 50 cents of every dollar and found out about the multifamily space, thought it was just for the billionaires. Boy, was I wrong when I found out about the goodness, the legacies that we could create, the generational wealth that we can create, and financial freedom. Yes, please. I was tired of being tied to my wellness centers, eating work, drinking work, finish up where I left off. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. As I said, mom of 5 on a mission to create generational wealth. As cliche as it sounds, there's freedom in what we are doing. And we are amongst the finest people and in the greatest space ever if we truly want financial freedom. So it's an absolute honor to be here. Again, 200 million assets under management. I've got 4 brilliant partners with RockStar Capital, and I feel like we are just getting started. There is so much more goodness to be had. So all of you guys, whether you're new or you've been at it for a while, rest assured, these people that are right here in this networking event are exactly who you want to link arms with, because you know what? We are better together. So I hope tonight that we bring the fire in such a wicked way that we put fire under your ass that you can't stop yourself and that you're ready to go nonstop to the top. Because here's the truth. It's lonely at the top and we need others up there with us. So here's what I'll tell you. The 4 people, well, all of us, but the 4 panel that were invited to come tonight, I will tell you one thing I know for sure. They've all got one hand up and one hand down, ready to help you win at this game of life. And that's the most beautiful part about all of this. We all want to see each other win. It's not a competitive, oh my gosh, I'm doing better than you. To be honest, that's what spurs my ass on, is when I see Dr. Wah doing her magic. I'm like, that a girl, she's a woman and she's killing it. I love being around people like such. So listen, don't just sit back. I want you to lean in, take copious notes, jot down, look at the people that are in the picture as we're here that are on this Zoom call. Go make it a point to link up with those that you want to connect with, because I promise you, you will have nothing but goodness. Every single time I pop in an event like such, I'm on Tim's every other week. There's always somebody that I meet and I walk away with, and there's something new and beautiful that emerges. So don't just sit back, lean in, be ready, and go for it.
Love it, love it, love it. Who do we got next? Mr. Venkat Arumali, hit me, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much. Well said, Aaron. My name is Venkat Arumili. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I'm a real estate syndicator. I'm getting some echo.
Do you have more than one device? Do you have more than one device on Venkat?
No.
No?
We can't hear the echo, so just
Yeah, we
keep
can't.
going, my friend.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's something on your side.
Okay. Sorry about that. So, my name is Venkat Arumili. Yeah, this is the place that I'm a real estate multifamily syndicator. Started with single family technology professional, turned into real estate investor. 5 years ago, I started my real estate journey. Started my single family, then it's not scalable, so turned into multifamily. Now I completed 9 transactions. Started with JVs, now into syndications. We
right there in the middle is the embryo. See that clicker? You know what that is?
Ryan, can you unmute? Yeah, can you mute? Thank you.
I got him.
Okay, thank you. So, raising capital, as I started as a multifamily operator, raising capital is the biggest thing that we need to. So I started working with a hunters group. So it's important that you work with like-minded people, raising capital, work with your. I help technology investors that wanted to financial freedom. So you narrow your avatar. So that's what I'm doing. I'm helping technology professionals achieve financial freedom. So I had 9 syndications so far, 263 GP units, and 714 under contract. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer any questions. Thank you. Sorry, I took a little longer.
Nah, you're good, man. And last but not least, one of my good friends, someone who I trust and respect tons in this business, Mr. Trevor Thompson. Hit me with the goods, my brother.
Yeah, so my name is Trevor. I'm based in Austin, Texas. I started out as a very active passive investor. I've invested in 21 syndications. I started out a rough journey. My first GP deal, I lost a lot of money. We didn't get closed, no fun. And so I started to learn. And I kind of look around in this stage and I think, what am I doing here? And let me tell you how I got here, even though my numbers are far less than them, because I love to connect with people. I love to help people. When I meet people, I say, what can I do for you first? And that's how I got here. And I am going to, next year when I come here, I'm going to be blowing their numbers out of the water, challenge everybody. It's all about getting out there, creating value, connecting with people, being true and genuine, and then the money will start to come. So I'm also, by the way, a GP on 7 deals now. My first one was with Garrison and Elsa. I didn't bring very much money to the deal, but I only had 2 days to raise it. And we are making payments too, which is very exciting in this market. So I'm excited to be here. It's an honor to be on stage with so many rock stars.
Awesome. Much appreciated, Trevor. You know what? I'm going to break this up real quick. Anyone who has questions, anyone in the group who has questions, throw them in the chat below, but I'm going to ask the first one to the panelists. I'll start with Hua just because she was first to do the intro. If you were getting started in capital raising today, you're just getting into multifamily, someone told you, holy heck, you can be a full-time capital raiser and you can focus on capital raising and 10x your business. What would you do? What would you do? What would be that first step you would put forward? What would you do to raise capital?
You know, what's really worked well for me, because like Trevor said, I was a very active passive investor. And so I got educated really, really well so that when I go speak to people, and I think speaking, whether it's a local small group or whether it's a larger stage where you can collaborate with other people, that has been the biggest platform for me to be able to just educate, add value, and people naturally get attracted to you. And it's been the easiest way for me to raise capital. It's been the most effective way for me to be able to raise capital, because when you're on a stage, it gives you an authoritative figure. And when you're able to partner with people who they already trust because that's their event, it really gives you a whole nother level. It's like you're not asking, people are wanting and to learn more. And I think the education platform, kind of like what you're doing here, Garrison, is a huge, huge win because people want to learn. Like they say, know, like, and trust. And so you build that process. And speaking has been the biggest way for me to be able to leverage and spread education and attract investors.
And let me, a real quick follow-up to that. Did you get on big stages and talk, or did you go to local meetups, or what was your go-to?
I started local and small, and then I graduated to large stages. And then I got to eventually go into large stages in rooms where there are a lot of doctors, but I didn't start there. As people kept hearing me on different podcasts and seeing me on different stages, I kept getting invited to other stages. And so that's how it really spread. And so I speak to all type of groups, you know, because I can speak on different subjects. So it doesn't specifically have to be real estate specific, whether it's a women's group, whether it is a real estate, whether it's an entrepreneur. But because I'm a doctor by trade, that's kind of helped also because I can go into different pockets of the doctor group, whether it's family practice, whether it's dentistry, whether it's optometry. I can speak on the behalf of an entrepreneurship, but I can also educate on the real estate space where busy professionals just want to put their money to work.
Awesome. Very good points. And that's actually how Multifamily Masters got started. We started because we wanted to grow up big meetup chapters all across the country and create opportunities for individuals to become local experts, to create local opportunities. And we knew that our network would grow as well. So that's awesome. Dr. Aaron Hudson, if you were just getting started today, what would be your go-to? What would you focus on? What would you dive into in order to raise capital sooner than later for deals that you wanted to be involved with?
It's so good. I got 2 things for you. The first thing is, don't do what I did. I waited, I held on to my money thinking, I'm going to wait until I find my own deal. Fast forward, that took me 18 months. Do not be foolish and do that. I would tell you, if you're newer and you're in that position to be able to invest as a limited partner, do not wait. Jump in and find the right team that has got a track record to jump into. Why? Because your confidence level is going to be so much greater. Meaning when you're calling brokers and you can speak from a place of having owned an apartment building, They're not going to ask you if you're on the GP, if you're on the LP, when you're trying to have these conversations. So you want to have credibility. I think it's the greatest way to garnish it right away. The other thing is, if I were to start over again, in order to land my team that I'm with now, my gosh, I feel like I wake up every morning so beyond blessed with the partners I had. But let me tell you, it was a little bit rocky when I first got started. So if I were to do it all over again, because I love people, and this is my flow state, being in the director equity relations side, if I were to do it all over again, I would find a top-notch team that has a great track record and they're impeccable, brilliant individuals. And I would go create my own fund, and I would bring people into my fund, and then I would go link up with the great high performance team that's got a track record, because I know that they're going to make me look really, really good. And then second of all, I don't have to be transactional. I would like to do the next deal, possibly in the next deal with them as well. So I think that's really what I would tell you. And then lastly, I'll say, we've raised all of our money just within our team. Now I'm looking for fund managers that have great connections, but are not a fund manager right now. And we can show them the ropes and let them be able to work with a high performance team like I just talked about. So
Fantastic. You are who you hang out with. Surround yourself with winners, right, miss? So with that being said, Mr. Venkat, I'm going to ask you a slightly different question. What has been your biggest win? What has been your biggest takeaway, your biggest aha as to, damn, I can't believe that that's how you raise capital. I can't believe that's the systems, the automations, or the processes, or whatever. But what's been your biggest aha moment in regards to capital raising?
You're muted.
Thank you. My biggest aha moment was we closed on a deal when everybody is struggling in December of last year in 49 days. That's a 4.5. It's not a big raise for a lot of them, because I am in a room here with a lot of rock stars. I want to be learning from all of you. So we closed that one in 49 days when everybody is struggling, of which $3+ million I was able to raise. Then that was the biggest aha moment for me. Yeah. So how I did that one, that was a 506B with friends and family. I had a active campaign, automated. So we have drip campaigns. So I was following up with my investors. That was the approach I used. One thing I realized, like Dr. Erin said, building credibility is the single most important thing, because as we build credibility, people invest in you, not in your deal. So you have to be credible for them so that they invest in you. That's what I do. So I would like to answer your question earlier also. How would I do what I would do if I have to restart my capital raise? What I would do is, I agree with Dr. Erin. I would create a fund of fund, and I would build a community. By the way, we have a 300+ people community. We at Sunbelt Equity Group, along with my partner Mai and others, we are helping new investors learn multifamily syndications. We are building a team of capital raisers. That's what we are doing. That's how
Fantastic.
I do now. Yes.
Fantastic. And something to think about right there. This is a team sport. It's just not
Yes,
all about
it is.
you. You are who you surround yourself with. Similar to what Aaron just said, you need a team. You can't do everything on your own. You got to find some people that you connect with, some people that you can relate to, and some people that have offsetting skill sets, such as myself and Elsa, and that will help you grow your business. So, Mr. Trevor Thompson, I'm going to ask you a slightly different question. How imperative, how important has social media, networking, all the conferences that you attend, how has that helped you raise capital? How has that helped you get your name out there? How has that helped you be credible to your investors?
Yeah, so it's super, super important that you have a presence out there, and that your presence brings value. At the beginning, You know, I had one of my mentors tell me, you got lots of sizzle, you got no steak, dude. You know, so I was doing lots and I was posting and I was running around and kissing babies and shaking hands, but I had lots of sizzle, but I didn't have any steak. And steak meant I wasn't offering value. I was just connecting, you know, how many people can I hug? How many people can I touch? And then, like Aaron said at the beginning, you know, one hand forward, one hand back. As soon as I started grabbing on to people, and I would grab on to folks like yourself, Tim, other people, and say, how can I help you? And then I would say, hey, person behind me, grab my hand and let's get to the next level together. It was really doing that. It's a lot of work doing what I do in social media. I still do all my own interactions. I don't create the content, but I do all of my conversations. But without, you got to create some value after that. You reach a point where people come and think of you as someone, first of all, that's going to help them get to an answer. What do you want to know? I never start with, let me tell you about my deal. Where are you? What do you want to know? What do you want to do? Let's get to know each other first. And once I became very real in my social media, and the same Trevor, it is my pajamas, is the same Trevor on the internet, right? And that's very important.
Fantastic. Very good points. Very good points. Tim, what questions? Go ahead and ask a couple questions.
Yeah. What's your favorite tools that you'd really like right now, especially when it comes to capital raising?
Let's start with Trevor. We'll go reverse order. Hit me, Trevor.
Yeah, so I love Facebook because I'm good at it and I understand it. And it's very personal. But to be honest, I'm really working hard to perfect LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is where accredited investors are hanging out.
I could not agree with that more, man. I've been focusing on LinkedIn myself. Venkat, what is the tool that you're using that is your go-to, that is the one thing you can't live without when it comes to capital raising, in terms of technology tools, automation systems, processes?
Right now, we are using ActiveCampaign. One of the ActiveCampaign automations, we follow Hunter Thompson's methodology. So it's working really well, ActiveCampaign and sales message for texting. But I am looking for a solution, an integrated solution with a CRM right now, as I'm using my technology background. But right now, the ActiveCampaign seems to be working really fine.
Let me ask you real quick. In your CRM, do you have email sequences, drip campaigns, like what do you do inside of your CRM that makes it that special?
Yeah, we do have all those. We have email sequences. Once we get the deal, we send to our investors. We have follow-up sequences. Everything is automated, and also there is a sales message for texting that is integrated with this. So it's all automated, but there are like a lot of pieces. So I'm trying to look for a solution to automate that. Yeah.
If I got added to your database today, how many emails would I see from you in the next 2 weeks? How many messages, contacts, outreaches would I get?
That's a great question. So right now I'm scaling up. So we are not completely triggering all the automations. You would receive probably 10 to 15 emails, but it's a work in progress for us right now.
10 to 15 emails in the next 2 weeks?
Yes, based on my deal flow. I have a couple of deals because we are working on a couple of deals. 320 units in DFW. I just signed a closing document for today, a 63 unit at the time. So we are closing on 31st, but we signed the document. So we have, we are nurturing all the leads that we have.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Miss Erin, Dr. Erin Hudson's, I'm sorry.
Hey, you're good.
What is your go-to technology, your go-to tool, whatever you want to call it? What can you not live without?
Okay, so I got two things for you. Social media, for sure. You've got to be there and in the forefront, because here's the truth. You've probably heard it before, but if they don't know you, they can't flow you. You want to be
hold on. What am I going to do on social media? What would you suggest I do? I'm brand new. I don't know anything.
So it's first of all, you want to educate. People love to be educated, but you can't educate every single post. People want to know that you're normal, that you're human, that you inspire, that you're an encourager. You want to be all, like a little bit of the family, find a way to mix that in there too. And so all of them, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. I feel like that's a given though. So I'm going to give you one that's like really gold. Who's ready for the gold? If you're ready for the gold, like give me like your Zoom clap. Like this is going to be so good. If you don't use it, you're foolish. Write it down. It's called Vidyard. And here's what I do. I get the chance to speak to somebody and, call it on a Zoom, right? Fortune is in the follow-up. I come back, I go to Vidyard, I record a live video. I've already taken notes about them. What pops out? What makes them tick? What gets them excited? So maybe something about their family or how I can best help them. I intertwine that into my live video call. I send it back to them. Why? Because I become top of mind. And again, fortune is in the follow-up. You know how many responses I get back? They're like, wow, well played. I love this. Really smart. Like all of those things. You want to just go a little bit further to do something different than the masses do. And that has been game changing.
Absolutely. Good point. To Aaron's credit, whether we're talking about deal flow, broker outreach, capital raising, whatever it is, social media, emails, follow-ups, I always want my name to pop up at the top of their list. I want the name Garrison Gilbert. So that way, when that broker or that potential investor, they see my name, they think of my name, they think of real estate. Oh, when they think of real estate, they think of, oh, Dr. Erin Hudson. Oh, I should probably reach out to her. She's an expert. She knows her shit. That's who I want to invest with. That's who I want to partner with. That's awesome. I love it.
Garrison, like, look, there's Neil over here in the corner. Neil, I know you got one of my Vidyards. Did you
I can't
not?
hear her. Can you hear her, Tim?
I can hear her. Yeah. I think something, because your audio also changed. So something happened with your
Didn't get that.
your audio there.
Would you try again?
Yeah, we hear you just fine, Garrison.
Okay.
But
Anyway.
he couldn't hear us. We were able to hear him, but he couldn't hear us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But what?
yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, I see Neil here in the audience, and he received a Vidyard for me just this last week. Did you not give me a thumbs up, Neil, if you got mine? And if it made you feel special, I don't know, give a double thumbs up or give a little bit of this. Like, that's what we want. We want to make people feel important and special. You're not there to be like, hey, give me your money. I got the best investment. Why? Because everybody's freaking doing that. Be front of mind, be unique, be non-manipulative, and have a heart to truly serve, help, and listen to what their goals, needs, and desires are. You will win that way.
That's a good point. So far, double down on your CRM, create videos like Dr. Erin and social media, like she just said, go to networking conferences and put yourself on a stage and do different things. And that's awesome. Dr. Hua, what is your go-to technology? What is that one thing that just puts you over the top and is like, damn, I can't believe that that's how this works, or I can't believe that this process makes this business so easy. What is that one thing for you?
Well, a couple of things like Dr. Erin mentioned, social media is a big one, but one of the things that's automation that's we found very effective is Mobex Pro. And so with Mobex Pro, whenever we go to speak, a person can just text a short word, like for us, it's passive, to a 5-digit code. And then we program the sequence where immediately they sign in and they opt in, and we give them a free gift or due diligence checklist or whatever it is. And it really captures the information. And then the sequence, we program and change that sequence however we would like it. And so within first few seconds when they first opt in, and then we program and space it out how we want it. And so that's a really great way when you're speaking in front of a local meetup or on a big stage to have people just opt in, and you can deliver and create a sequence. So I really have loved Mobex Pro. We used to use MailChimp a lot for our email system. We've changed over to Go High Level, and that's really been more efficient, and it has a lot more tools for us to do. And it really, it captures all the conversations that we have between investors, and it puts it all in one platform for us. So those have been, but social media is big for me. I'm a big on Facebook, and LinkedIn has been great leads, but those two, Facebook and LinkedIn, and doing lives, even on StreamYard, if you go on StreamYard, you can do one live, link it to all your social media platforms. So I can do one StreamYard live. It'll go to my Facebook, it'll go to my LinkedIn, and then you can do it to all your groups. And so you can program all of that, do one live and have everything automated so people can get in touch with you. And then I just have VAs do my infographics, and I have a person doing the funnel system and following up. And then I do the personal touches on certain individuals.
That's
Fantastic.
awesome.
Do you have all steps and all systems of your social media pretty much automated by a team, or do you handle a lot of that yourself?
A team.
Perfect, perfect. And you know, these individuals, these RockStar panelists, they're throwing out some really good tools and some systems and some things that you need to incorporate, and really some things that I want to now incorporate myself. So jot down some of these names that they're throwing at you. But the number one to think about with any of these tools, systems, automations, processes, et cetera, is consistency. You can't start something today and 4 days from now, man, it doesn't work. I'm digressing. I'm being negative. That's not how this business works. You got to wake up every day. You got to put your pants on. You got to put one foot in front of the other, and you got to stay consistent with it in order to win with it. And you're not going to see overnight success potentially. And if you do, that's awesome, but don't expect that. Expect consistency to be the main part of this business. Go ahead, Tim, man. What's your, that was a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys a really good one. I have a lot, but I'm going to give you one that I think will be super cool. How many, we all know, and you heard it from the panelists, LinkedIn is one of the best sources to find passive investors. How would you like to be able to connect with, LinkedIn allows you to connect up to 30,000 people. Imagine if your 30,000 are doctors, business owners, and all the professionals. So here's a really cool way to connect with them that is non-spammy. That's the other thing. Like there's tons, you might get a lot of connection requests, but a lot of them are spammy connection requests. Here's a really cool way, sneaky way to do it. Okay. So if you get LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you're able to do custom searches where you can search, let's say you're going to search for doctors or like, surgeons as an example, surgeons in a certain area. And you get a list of these people. There are software tools out there. The one that I use is called Grow Me Organic, growmeorganic.com. And what that tool does is it then, it kind of like scraping, kind of like skip tracing, more like skip tracing than scraping, but it takes these people, it finds out what their email address is and their phone number is, and it gives you that to you, okay? So, and then so once it gives that to you, what you want to do is you want to import that into a special folder in your Gmail contacts, okay? And then you go on LinkedIn and you use the LinkedIn Gmail importer. So what that does is it goes and connect to that, to all of those Gmail contacts and invite them to connect you as a connection on LinkedIn. And so LinkedIn platform is doing this for you. So you're not sending out individual, connection requests. You're not spamming people on email. LinkedIn is doing this for you. And LinkedIn allows you to do 3,000 of these contacts a month. So there you have it.
That's awesome. That's a very good tip. Miss Elsa Nguyen, you want to ask the panelists a question, miss?
Should we go sum up the question in the chat right now, just so that we get everything covered?
Yeah, go ahead. Ask a couple questions in the chat.
Thank you so much for doing that. The first one is, how do we find speaking opportunity? I guess this is what Dr. Hua was touching on. So can you share some tips on how we can find speaking opportunities?
Speaking opportunities, as you're connecting, I think like Dr. Aaron had mentioned, you have to let people know who you are and what you do. And so when you go to networking events or you're going to speaking events, get to know the host and get to know people who also host events and reach out to them. I mean, I reached out to Tim. He didn't know who I was, but I knew he was in Houston. I knew he was throwing events. see how you can add value to people who are throwing events. And I think that's a great way to get your name out there. But then also, you know, people who want to get educated, right? Let them know, like, hey, if you host an event and you need someone to speak about multifamily, or they want to learn more about syndication, keep me in mind, right? A lot of times just being on one stage, I paid a business coach to learn about the speaking business. So I made that investment. And then he put me on his stage and connected me with a lot of other hosts that also have speaking events. And that's how really I got my foot in the door and got landed on a lot of stages, because I invested into that. But I think you just have to let people know that that's what you like to do and that you're available and how you can add value to their event and help promote the event. And that's a great way, because you don't want to just ask to be a speaker. You want to see how can you bring value to their audience and to their event.
Yeah,
And
that's a
start
real.
finding some local meetups. Find some local meetups. Go kick some knowledge. Network with some people. Get in front of a small stage first. Get comfortable. Get a pitch down. Get an ambiance going for you, and then rock and roll with it.
I got one thing I want to say that's easy for anybody on this call to do. How many people on the panel actually think that I might like or comment on your posts, right? Am I always there connecting, trying to add? That takes time, but it doesn't take any skill other than just keep showing up where your friends are showing up and support them. And you will start to get that trickle down effect. You'll get here and somebody like Garrison will say that he likes hanging out with you. Okay. So, you know, I always used to joke and say I stalk certain people, but I'm very consistent at supporting my tribe, and that has brought a ton of value to them and to me.
I'll slack on that really quick, because you guys, Trevor Thompson is like the most perfect person to use. I knew the guy before he got started. And when I met him, I knew there was something I loved about that guy. And any of you that have had a chance to meet this guy, he has a heart of gold. He's a lover of people. Listen to what he is sharing right now. What he is saying, he absolutely does. It's not just a pipe dream and he's just saying, no, he literally is always adding value. He's at everything. He's poured in without anything in return. He stayed the course. He had grit, and he broke through because people realized that he was nothing but a ball full of freaking love. And who doesn't want to be around love? That's exactly who Trevor is. So go try it on for size. When you see the guy, guess what he does? He smiles. He's not a Debbie Downer. When you smile, it makes you extremely approachable. And that's who that guy is. So any of you introverts on here that are like, oh man, I'm never going to get it. How am I ever going to get there? Guess what? He's a little bit of an introvert, believe it or not, or even a lot of bit of an introvert. He's a numbers guy that just has a beautiful heart. Go learn from that guy. He's the perfect example of it.
Next time I see Trevor, I'm expecting a shirt that says, I'm a bowl of love, my man.
And what I love
That's
about
my biggest takeaway from tonight. I want to see you in a medium t-shirt, something really tight that says, I'm a bowl of love.
If it was tight, it'd be a bowl of jelly.
Special guy.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, but
what
again,
I love about
anybody on this call
Trevor
can do this, right? Anybody. You can just be starting out. Anybody.
Yeah, I
You're
agree.
fantastic,
Trevor.
Trevor.
Trevor is to respond within 5 seconds of anything, whether you text him on LinkedIn or Facebook, he responds within 5 seconds. I love that. A couple other questions. Do I have time for that, Garrison? Or
Yeah, go ahead. Roll through them. Hit me with some questions.
Okay, very good. So besides speaking opportunities, how do you structure a deal for investor payout?
How do you structure say that again? How do you structure a deal for investor payout?
Right. So I guess this is for, as an LP, how do you structure the payout for the investors? That's different for the deal. Sometimes we just do pref return. for me, for our deals, sometimes we do a smaller preferred return, 7 or 8%, and then on top of that, you get some equity, anything between 50 to 80%. Some of our deals where we do short-term deal, we do a fixed, anything between 10 to 15% preferred return. So it's really depend on the deal.
So real quick, let's go through the panelists. Aaron, how are your deals structured? What's a typical return or what's a typical setup you give your investors real quick?
So it's a 70-30 split, and then most time we'll have hurdles, right? So at the end of the day, here's what I like to say to investors. If you're going to make a 20% return and all of a sudden it goes from a 70-30 to call it a 50-50, are you going to be upset? And they're like, hell no, right? So I think really there was something else I was going to share. You said, how do I structure it? And what was the other question?
Oh, that was it. How do you structure the payout for the LP?
Yeah, so that's pretty much how we have it. I was going to share something else, and I'm sorry, I got a little brain fog there. Yeah, so 70-30 split.
Okay.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. And so I love that we have a track record because we can use that. Last year, we had 5 dispositions. Every single one of those dispositions netted our investors over a 30% return, right? So I get to speak from that point of view of having that track record, and that gives a lot of confidence for the individual that's looking to invest with us. And we get to walk through a case study, right? I like to help educate people. And here's the last thing is like, people don't want to be sold. So if you could share with them, perhaps, and point them to a portal on your past completed deal that you, not completed, not that you've gone full cycle, but maybe letting them see a look at a past opportunity. That way you're not selling them, you guys. You're saying, hey, check out our last deal. Wrap your head around it. They're all kind of similar, right? And then what do? They peruse on over and they look at the opportunity that's there that day, right? So
Awesome.
anyways, that's a little bit of it. And it's really, really helpful because people want to be educated. They don't want to be sold. They want to sell themselves.
Dr. Hall, how do you structure your deals? What's a typical, like if I came to you, I got 100 grand, I got 50 grand. What are we going to do with it? How's it look?
Most of our deals are structured pretty straightforward. Majority of them are 80-20 split. We've only got one that's a 70-30 split. Most of them are just straight 80-20. There's only a couple of deals where we do a Class A, Class B. If you have like Class B is 50,000 or more, Class A is 150 and more.
Hold on. You lost me. I have no idea. Class A, Class B. What the hell are we talking about?
So it's thinking from a 506C to a 506B to 506C.
I'm sorry. Most of our
that's a difference.
506B, but our A class, if they invest the minimum, so their returns may be a little bit higher. If they're 150,000 or more as a Class A versus a Class B, they can come in at a minimum of 50,000 up to 149,000, and they'll get. But typically, it's pretty 80-20, and total return is a 3 to 5 year hold. You know, between 80 to 100% total return. Dr. Aaron makes a really good point about going full cycle and sharing some of those numbers and case studies on something that's current or something that's gone full cycle for our investors and kind of how they've performed. And so that's a really great way. People want to know historical, what's gone full cycle, what's current deals look like. But yeah, we don't usually do any hurdles or anything like that for our deals. So pretty straight cut.
Very interesting. So good takeaway from what she just said is surround yourself with people who have done deals. Surround yourself with a team who has been there and done it. And I'm not going to say use their pitch deck, but then you start, and you're never selling people, but you start dropping the word, this is what we've done. This is how we've done it in the past. This is what we're involved in. And you play off of your network. You play off of the team that you build and surround yourself with really good people who have a track record, and good things will happen a lot quicker. So with that being said, Mr. Venkat, if I was going to invest $50,000 with you in one of these deals that you have under contract, generally speaking, what would that look like? What kind of returns do you give your investors? What is your equity split to investors?
Yeah, our investors, we try to achieve like around 20% ARR, like 5-year hold, 100% returns. That's what we target for our investments. So the equity splits that we do is depending on the deal size. I'm going to tell you, under $10 million, we do like 70-30. If it is beyond $10 million, we do like straight 80-20 split. Not to mention, we have done some preferred return because there is a risk involved on a STR portfolio that we closed last year. So we did a preferred return, but in standard, we do not give any preferred return, though we have fiduciary responsibility for our investors, investor first. Having said that, we even last year did not close on a deal because it didn't make sense when interest rates went up. So we took a loss as a GPs. We tried to retrade and we couldn't retrade, and we kind of dropped out of the deal. So 80-20, we target around 6 to 8% cash flow and remaining as equity at the end. So the current deal we have, it's a 320 unit in Dallas Fort Worth. It's getting better and better. We underwrite for 2.1x. Right now, it's like achieving around 2.3x projected. So that's the deal. For $50,000, say for $100,000, they should be able to get like 30-40,000 as a cash flow on a quarterly basis, and then remaining at the end when we dispose the asset. Our business plan, typically, we are doing Class C right now, and we are transforming to Class B. We took the value add. So the assets, we try to get, value add without doing a lot of value add, operational efficiency. For example, the current asset we have, the seller is not doing RUPS. So he's paying $450,000. We are implementing RUPS and like a community services. That's like $115. That's $8 million instant value add after we acquire. So they're also not, so we look for those kind of opportunities. So 80-20 split is standard for us right now.
80-20 is what I'm hearing.
Mr. Trevor, I'm going to ask you the next question. So I'm going to throw you for a loop a little bit. I know you've invested in other people's deals, including some of our deals. What due diligence do you do on GPs before getting into deals? How do you pick who you're going to invest with?
Yeah, so first of all, I've changed my name, if you haven't noticed, to Trevor Bowl of Love.
Love it. Love it. That's the best nickname you could get, man. If you take nothing else away from this,
I'm never going to live this one down now. So I'll tell you, I do it at the beginning. I didn't know enough, right? Now I do a lot of due diligence, so I can follow people for up to a year, and I ask a lot of questions. I try not to be, and I say, would you mind sending me, put me on your investor updates for your current deals? I've done background checks if I'm a little bit nervous. I definitely talk to not who they tell me to talk to, but I find somebody else who's unhappy in a deal and talk to them. And not everybody's happy. And I'm actually okay. I also look for operators that are honest. I'll be honest, my best investment came after I went to a webinar and they talked about, we really did a bad deal and we misjudged it. And here's what we did to save it. But we're super upset that we didn't hit our investor returns. And it was honest and frank presentation. And I'll tell you, I invested with that person. And to date, it's been my best investment ever by a long shot.
That's awesome.
Now, again, I got lucky, the market, whatever it is, but I want to invest with people that are honest, will take questions and will share. And I've been shocked, I've misjudged a couple of times. And they all returned my call. And then once the money went in the bank, I had a couple of them that did not return my call. Super upsetting. And so, if you're a sponsor of any type, be responsive to everybody and answer questions, right? Questions are good. Questions are not bad. And a lot of people think questions are bad.
Very good tip.
Dr. Aaron, do you operate, and I'm asking because I really don't know, do you operate most of your deals or do you specifically focus on capital raising?
Nope, I'm all in-house. I only raise funds for my own deals with my own. I've got 4 other partners. We all have 20% ownership. So I'm a co-founder of Quattro Capital. And the beautiful thing, there is no power struggle because we all own the same amount. And so everything is in-house. And that's why I was saying earlier, we just branched out. Now we're looking to bring on more fund managers, because we all know in the next 2 years, there's going to be some serious blood in the water. You may know this, but there's 460 billion loans due by the end of 2023. What does that mean?
Wow.
That means opportunity is
People-
coming. It's coming. So we're just getting smarter. We're doing some things a little bit different. I don't want to go into that because I think it may be a question for later, but yes.
Gotcha.
Good
Very
stuff.
good point. Dr. Hua, do you operate most of your deals, or do you invest with other people, or how is your business set up?
We do both. You know, we have someone full-time on our team that's constantly underwriting. And so we're touring properties and underwriting consistently. We asset manage a few of them if they're local in Dallas here, and in Houston, we'll go back and forth. We like to partner with someone who's boots on the ground, who does more hands-on of the operations, but we are on the weekly calls with the property management team. And so we do like the A to Z process, but we do like to partner with someone who's going to do more of the overlooking the management company and doing a lot more of the lead asset management.
Very good points. You know, a quick takeaway right there. Invest with someone who has lost before. I don't want everybody who's just have wins and been able to ride that wave over the last 3, 4, 5 years on the upswing. Number two, get to know the people that you're going to invest with. Get to know they're going to be partners to some degree. Get to know the people that you align yourself with. Make sure that you have similar motives, similar goals, similar morals. Make sure that they fit all around with what you are trying to accomplish. Mr. Tim, go ahead, man. Hit me with a question.
Yeah. Share with us, talking about, some losses, right? Share with us one of your most challenging deals that you got involved in, and how did you navigate through that?
Don't all go at once.
I'll start my journey. And Dr. Erin, I'm so glad that she's on here, because she was on that deal with me. And that was such a challenging deal because it was right with COVID and everything happening. It was a 56 unit deal in Pasadena, Texas. And I swear we got back and forth. We got under contract on that deal in March, right in the midst of everything happening with COVID. Lending, we put hard money. And at the time it was just us putting hard money. And interest rates were all over the place with COVID happening. The numbers didn't make sense at that time. I was like, we can't bring investors in with the deal with the market and the rates going the way it did. So we dropped out of the deal at that time. We decided we'll take a loss on our earnest money. Things settled down around July or so. The broker reached back out to me and he's like, hey, the seller wants to see if you're still potentially interested, see if we can negotiate on pricing and better terms and things of that nature. My original partner on the deal stepped out. He said he didn't want to do the deal anymore. And so at that point, I met Dr. Erin, and Dr. Erin's team came in, and it was a really challenging deal because we found out the seller, it was like self-managed. We did a financial audit. We did the due diligence. Nothing checked out. It was like a hot mess. It was thumbs down. And so we took a loss on it again. I was just like, not only one time, but 2 times on that same freaking deal. And it was a nightmare, but it was, glad that we didn't bring investors into that deal, and it was a huge headache. And I'm glad that we walked away. And I felt so defeated because I never want anybody to lose money in that process. And especially because Dr. Erin's team came in and she's a heart of gold. And you talking about one hand up and one hand down. Sister, I am so grateful for you. And, you've always been such a huge heart and supporter. And even though we all lost money on that deal, like you keep chugging along and you keep everybody's spirit. And that happens, we took a loss for it and we moved forward. We learned a ton through that project. And a month later, the ball started rolling in the positive direction. But that was our worst deal.
Very good
That's
point.
like super important what she just said. Listen, that was at the beginning when she started doing some investing. Thank God she did not give up and throw the towel in and say, I feel defeated, I lost. Y'all, it can't be rainbows and butterflies your whole entire ride, right? It's those little failures that we have that catapult us to the next level. And whoever your believer is, whether it's the Lord, whether it's whatever you believe, we're tested and we want to see if we're going to withstand through the pressure? And if so, then guess what? We get rewarded on the other side and great things open up, just as she just said. Anyways, I'll share mine. It's super vulnerable. Who wants a hairy story? I'll try and keep it short, but listen, we all got to learn from one another. And I'm not excited to share my story, but I hope that it will help you along in your journey. I started off my first deal and I ended up partnering with a husband and a wife that were part of the mentorship program that I had paid for back in 2017. Let's just say, to keep it a little bit shorter, that basically 3 days after we closed on the property, they had found the property. I brought all the money, $5.2 million deal, and they stole $35,000 out of the bank account. So imagine all of a sudden money goes missing out of the bank account, and all you think about is, holy shit, I'm in bed with some frauds. Not to mention every dollar that got brought to that deal to the tune of $2 million came from my people, my friends, my patients, my family. So there was like loss of sleep. Okay. So you would think that that's the end of it. I wish it was. It wasn't. So I got them off as managing partners. What did they do? Hold on. They drafted up a document that said Aaron Hudson will pay $150,000 after we close this property, since we found the property, and they forged my signature.
Oh
so
my gosh.
I had to hire an attorney for that. And it goes on and on. But listen, then they put a Liz Pendenz on the property when I went to sell it. So it was literally one thing after another. So imagine after all that happens, how defeated I felt and how shitty I felt as a individual that was coming in and taking other people's money, and then I was in bed with frauds, right? So here's the net of it. I don't tell you all that to go, oh my gosh, how sad, that's horrible. No, I tell you all of that to be cognizant on who you choose to partner with. Your tribe is your vibe. Do you want to be with people that are known as frauds and thieves and so on and so forth? I was just the girl that had I was in private practice with 30 employees. I'm a handshake kind of girl. I sow goodness into the world, but not everybody does. So make sure you get your background checks. Make sure you do all of the things that you need to do to confirm that they are of the right kind of people you want to link arms with and be known as, because here's the truth. There were red flags and I dismissed it, and shame on me. And the reason I did that, because I was at it for 18 months, you guys, and I hadn't had success. And so all of a sudden they come to the table, and a couple things happened. Like the husband kind of raised his voice at his wife when we were at dinner. That's a no-no. That's extremely disrespectful. It was things like that were red flags that I dismissed. And so, of course, I was hard on myself afterwards. But again, I almost left, and thank God I didn't, because I ended up meeting my partners at a multifamily event. And I was raising money for a philanthropy thing, and I shared it on the stage. And guess what? My partners I have today are the ones that actually gave to a great cause to help the single moms that were living in the trash dump. I knew that those were my people because they have a heart for other people, and we were on the mission for the same thing, to sow goodness and impact lives. So there you have it.
Very good
Well
point.
said. Well said, Aaron.
So something to take away from there is, this business is not all rose and glory. Yes, you can make a lot of money really quick, but you can lose a lot of money really, really, really quick. And something else to think about. It takes a long time to build a good reputation, to build a great reputation. It takes a second to get a bad reputation. So make sure you're always doing the right thing. Make sure you're aligning yourself with the right people. Make sure you're surrounding yourself, like Dr. Aaron just said. She found people that are not invested, but donated to single mothers, people that wanted to help other people that had different goals other than, let's buy multifamily. I want to own 5,000 apartments. Look at me. I'm on social media. Woo, woo, woo. It's not all about that. Unfortunately, in this space, that's what you see on social media. And a lot of the garbage you see on social media, when you hear someone say, hey, I own 1,800 doors, the next question you should ask them, do you got to wake up and go to work on Monday? Or do you do real estate full time? I know a lot of people that fall into the latter category where I own 1,800 doors, but I don't even make enough to leave my W-2 job and I make $80,000 a year. Well, that's a red flag. Just like Dr. Aaron said, there's tons of red flags. Look for those things. I don't care about anyone's door count. I care about the bank account. I care about what are you doing to your investors? Give me references from your investors. Let me talk to people who actually invested into several different deals with you and had good experiences. That goes a lot further than the shallow part of this business that you do see. Sorry, a little bit of a rant. But go ahead, Trevor, hit me, man. What's your answer to that question, homie?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously my first GP deal, we didn't get closed. It was a loan assumption with the pref equity in the middle. We lost 350K, which was 75.
Whoa. Did we lose it or did you? When I say we, whatever this big team lost, did you
The
lose
GP team, which 75K was mine. No investors lost money. They all got it back.
Damn, man. Damn. But that's the type of guy you want to do business with. He stepped up and did what he had to do to compensate for things that were beyond his control. But go ahead, Trevor, man. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay. And then my second GP deal, that was when the rates all changed and we couldn't finish the raise and they retraded on the loan. And so we dropped out. My third deal was with you and Elsa. And we all know,
Did you lose any money on that deal as we go down this? I want to throw that out.
I didn't lose any money on that deal and this deal. And I'll tell you the coolest thing, and it was a good example because then shortly thereafter I closed my own deal. And to be honest, you know, we bought a property. It took us forever to do a loan assumption. When we bought it, it was like 88% occupancy. When we took over, it was 72. Nobody'd been in the office for 2 months. It was disaster. And I know on the one we're partners with, you guys, man, you rolled up your shirt sleeves and saved it on the same deal I did. I went to San Antonio twice a week because I had to, right? And that's, again, and we didn't talk a lot about it, and I don't even like to talk too much about it, but those are the kind of people you want to give your money to, right? Like, I'm going to go fix it. And, you know, it's hard work. And a lot of people, all the gurus teach you is the glamour and I always have a joke, you know, people say I own 3,000 doors. I actually say I own 3,000 door knobs. Because if you really think about it, right, you know, I got a couple of deals that, you know, 300, it's a $40 million deal. And, you know, I own the doorknobs. I don't even own the doors.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, and to Trevor's credit, he reached out to me about 3 months after we got into this deal together. And he said, thank you. I got into a fight with several other GPs and he can attest to this. And it wasn't really a fight, but it was pretty hostile for a little bit because my number one concern when we get into a deal, I don't care who my GPs are. I don't have friends. My number one responsibility is to make sure that my investors get their capital back. He's seen me get into not physical altercations, but literally headbutts with individuals who did not see the sense of urgency to take action today so that your investors get their capital back. You have to realize this business is people donate their retirement accounts with you. Their retirement accounts. Think about that. People donate their hard-earned money with you. I don't care what you got going on in your personal life. You're going through a divorce. I don't give an F. Somebody passed away. I don't care. And that's not because of my lack of empathy, but I care about, we got to do what we promised to do no matter what. Our investors rely on us. Some of these investors, they need that money. It's not a want. They need that to pay electric, to pay food, to pay diapers, to do X, to do Y, to do Z. It's a scary business from that angle, but you have to go in there with real authority and real motive to do what's right for your investors before anything else. I will take a hit. I will lose everything off of my back. I will give my shirt to, I will do whatever we got to do to make sure my investors do not lose with us. Because like we talked about earlier, it takes a long time to build a reputation. It takes 3 seconds to lose it. And big credit to both Trevor, Dr. Hua, Dr. Aaron, for talking about those losses, because a lot of people on social media, they don't talk about that stuff. This is real stuff. Go ahead, Tim, or Elsa, you got another question?
I got to share my losses, if that's okay.
Yeah, there's a few here in the chat, but I know we'll also, you know, be sensitive to the time. I can shoot one last question in the chat if you're okay with that, Garrison.
Yep, go ahead, hit me.
Yeah. Okay, on the topic of just piggyback on what Trevor just go through, one of the question came through is what kind of due diligence do we do on GPs before getting into a deal, into their deals? So What
Go ahead, Trevor.
agent
I
to
can,
do on
I mean,
TV?
listen, I think that you heard a couple of us say, after that first one, I didn't do background checks. You better believe I did background checks round 2, because here's the thing. You hear that saying that's like, someone screws you over, shame on them. But if it happens twice, shame on you. So I
Mhm.
wasn't going to mess up round 2. So definitely background checks if you're getting ready to get in business as a partner. As an investor, I don't know. I hear both sides. So
And to her credit, you're going to make mistakes when you get into this business. Own up to them, own those mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and grow. Go ahead, Dr. Hua. You got an answer to that question as well?
I think it's important that they answer questions like Trevor mentioned, be open to answering questions. And then also for my partnerships, I like to know that everyone has skin in the game. Whether I'm an LP or a GP, that is a must for me, that everyone has skin in the game that's coming in. And then I want to know who's doing what, as far as, you can have an experienced person on the team, but if they're not the ones actually operating and doing the asset management, and there's not a local boots on the ground person, I think that's something we need to, consider as well. And so the experience, that's some degree, but I want them to have transparency, to be good about communicating and getting back to me, and being just divvy up the roles and make it clear of what the expectations are, especially if you're going to partner together, because it's like a marriage, it's 5 years together, and you better be able to communicate and like each other and do business. Because at the end of the day, investors really trust you. And so it's your job to do the background check, to vet the team, vet the project, and make sure that everyone is doing what they say they're going to do,
Very good point. Next question, real quick. Let's fly through some of these questions. We still have 115 people on here. That's awesome. How do you categorize your potential investors? Cold, warm, or hot? Real quick. Cold is someone you don't know. Someone is hot. That means they're ready to invest with you. And warm is in between. Warm is they know who you are. You're nurturing them. You're educating them. You're getting them caught up to speed so that eventually they turn hot and they're willing to invest with you. How many email / sequences do you give to folks? Are they educational or promotional? Everything is educational. Everything is real life. Everything is documenting your life, documenting your real estate career, and giving people that warm, fuzzy feeling so they're ready to invest with you. And do you target local investors or do you target nationwide? Let me ask that question to Venkati. Are most of your investors local to you, or most of your investors spread throughout?
So the way I have an investor avatar. So what investors, they invest in you, right? So they resonate you, like what my investor avatar is. Busy technology professionals wanted financial freedom, financial and time freedom. That's who I target. So yeah, they're not just local, they're across the globe, let me say. So nationally and globe.
Absolutely. Very good point. And to his credit, your avatar is the person who's most likely to invest with you. What is your background? What is your education? I'll just use Dr. Erin because I know a little bit about her. She's a chiropractor. Do you think the chances of other chiropractors wanting to invest with her? Probably a pretty high chance of success, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Start reaching out to people that have similar backgrounds. Start reaching out to people that are in your local market that you can potentially see face to face, and start reaching out to individuals who live near properties that you buy. A lot of individuals like to invest in properties that they can see, feel, and touch. So start hitting local markets if you invest into local markets. Aside from friends and family, what is some of the best ways for newer investors to raise capital? Very good question from Anthony Jackson. Hit me, Trevor. What do you got, man?
Yeah, so the best way is, we try to so just like you're doing this webinar, right, to bring people in. We do a lot of webinars every Wednesday night. So I was on one before here, and we do it to attract people, educate, and then of course, reach out to them to make the connection. And today with Zoom, you can meet everybody everywhere, right? That is something that just blew the world up, right? Before COVID, I met people in Austin, Dallas, and Houston, and San Antonio. That was it. And a couple of conferences. And then once that happened, I mean, I would turn into a maniac. I was on 2 Zoom calls a night, 6 nights a week, making connections and hooking up. Doesn't sound good, does it? Connecting with people. Maybe it's my love that makes me hook up. I don't know. You know, and just doing it. And the sky is the limit, but the number one most important thing is a referral from somebody else. You have done somebody else right.
Oh, very good point.
A referral from somebody else is like gold, right? It is absolute positive gold.
Hey, I'll stack on that one because it goes with it. A referral is gold. My newest thing that I've been doing probably for the last 4 months that has been so insanely powerful is this. If I get on a Zoom call with someone, I always will say at the end of the call, what is it that I can do for you and how can I help you? What is it that you're looking for? And then they'll spurt off what they'll say. And then guess what? It's the law of reciprocity. People ask the same question back. What can I do for you? I'm not saying, hey, give me $100,000 for my deal. You know what I say to them? I've been saying, who are the top 5 profound people that you can connect me to via email? And I kid you not, I get the most warm, fuzzy, amazing emails where the individual, there's one guy in particular that sends me referrals like crazy, and he edifies me so well. And then he edifies the other person and says, you two have got to connect. There's magic here. And so when I get on that call, it's like that bridge and that trust has already been created. So it's like we get to take off and fly high together on our conversation. I kid you not, those individuals, I'm getting the top 5 in their Rolodex of great people. And so there's just been massive, massive synergy. So I really would tell you guys, start asking people. I'm not saying ask for, do you have a referral that wants to invest in my multifamily space? Guys, no. It's going to be natural and they're already going to ask you. So tell me more about what you're doing. And you get to share a little bit about what you're doing. And then flip the conversation and make it about them, because he who asks the most questions wins.
Absolutely. Very, very good point. Hey, Aaron, let me ask you the next question. I got 8 comments here that say Vidyard ? How do you spell it? How do you say it? Put it in the comments below.
Yep, no problem. It's Vidyard, VIDYARD. I don't know. I want to say it's like $30 a month or something like such. Did you want more information or want me to share a little bit about it or what?
Yeah, tell us what you utilize it for, because we got a lot of questions about it.
Okay.
And hold on, was the second one, was it from you called Mobex Pro maybe?
That was from my girl over here.
Oh, okay, we'll hit that one next.
The other mighty fine doctor on this call. Vidyard, you guys. Vidyard is, once you sign on, literally you will have the camera in front of your face and you hit record. I'm going to give you a tip. You're going to hit record. Right when you hit record on it, it's in front of your computer. It's not your phone. It's literally the computer in front of you. You take your hands. I shouldn't tell you this because now you're going to copy me and everybody I see, they're going to be like, Aaron must have told you that. Take your hands and go like this and smile big. Why? Because a smile is so freaking magnetic and it says, my gosh, I want to get to know her. She must be confident. She seems like a cool chick. You know what? She's got a lot of energy. Don't you want to be around people like such? So when I do this, guess what? I'm allowed to take 3 different thumbnails. I get to choose which one I want to send. So which one do I send? I send the one that's going like this. So they can't help themselves and they open up the video. Second of all, in the subject line, I say, I got a video for you, ! I don't say shit in the body of the email. Why? Because if you do that, some people may just pass and not even watch your video. But you piqued their curiosity enough, they're like, what's in that freaking video? And so in that video, I say, it was so great getting on a call with you. I loved getting to know you. Listen, have fun at that soccer game. But before you go, I just want to let you know, as I promised you, I put that link down below to go check out that past deal. And what I want you to do is, I want you to watch that. I want you to write down and take copious notes. And I want you to jot down your questions because I can hardly wait to get on the next call with you. I'm going to answer those questions. I'm going to give some more context. And I can't wait for the goodness that we're going to do together. Have a great day. Make it a good one. Bye now.
Awesome.
Love it.
You don't hear the heart like when I talk. versus a dumbass text that you can't even understand how anybody feels. The emotion's not even there. It gets misconstrued. But when you beautifully pause and you edify, you just went right up the totem pole, as long as it's real and not manipulative.
Awesome.
How about some Zoom? How about like a Zoom clap for that one? Come on, guys. That was like really good.
That was good.
Now, Dr. Hua, tell me about Mobex Pro. What do you do with it? How do you utilize it? What the hell is it?
So Mobex Pro, you pay them to install it one time for you, and you set up and provide all the information, or you can do it yourself and they'll walk you through the process. And then you can pick one key word, that's your word, so people can just text into a 26786. It's a 5-digit code. And then you sequence it and they'll coach you. They'll walk you through. They have a Facebook private community and they have weekly ways to maximize it. And so you can set up the sequence, you can set up newsletters through it. And so it's a wider reach where you can do sequential and you can do video, you can do landing pages within it. And so you can utilize it for a lot of different ways, and you can consistently keep changing the sequence depending on which event you're going in. You can change the word. And so there's a lot of uses for it. And I think that that's been really great. I think video, like people, like Aaron said, you know, people like to see you, hear you, you know, so doing a little short video clips. I sometimes just do an audio in addition to it, but that's a real great way, because the open rate for an email, you know, can be tricky, but for text, it's usually 90-something% open rate via text message versus an email. So we find that, you know, text and Mobex Pro has been really a great tool for us.
What is the fee on that, Dr. Hua?
You can go on mobexpro.com and sign up for it. My business coach is actually the one, and his son, they actually started that company and started that program. And so I signed up under them, but you can just go directly on their website, mobexpro.com, I think, and then ask them for a consultation to see if that's something that might be a good fit for your business. But I mean, we use that tool so much, like everywhere we go, it's so easy just to have people opt in that way. And then
how much is it?
I think we paid $99 to set it up at the beginning. I don't remember the exact, I think it's $99 a month or something like that. I'll have to double check on the pricing.
It's cheaper than an employee. Anyone who's throwing red flags out there, I don't want to spend money. It's way cheaper than hiring someone to do it for you.
It's not expensive. And
that was a one-time fee, right? One time?
Was a setup and a monthly fee? That's what.
Set up and a monthly fee, yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Ho, you mentioned about.
I appreciate everyone showing up. We are Multifamily Masters. I appreciate Mr. Tim Mai coming on here. He is hosting a capital raising conference this September. We went well over our time limit anyway. Tim has a link he's going to throw in the comments below, and I'm going to stitch these 3 Zooms together, and we're going to push this out to the database. Tim has a conference coming up in Houston, capitalraisingsummit.com. Our 4 awesome RockStar panelists could not have put on a better show. Dr. Aaron Hudson, Dr. Hua Nguyen, Mr. Venkat Arumali, and Mr. Trevor Thompson with my 2 co-hosts, Rockstar, Mr. Tim Mai, and Miss Elsa Nguyen. I appreciate everyone hopping on here. We are MultifamilyMasters.com. Meetups, we got you covered. Masterminds, we got you covered. Facebook groups, we got you covered. Our goal is to push out enough valuable, enough free content that you know how to take your business to the next level. Much appreciated for everyone that showed up today. Any closing remarks, Mr. Tim? Hit me, brother.
No, gosh, you guys are amazing. You stayed on with us all the way to the end. Way to end. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being a part of our show today. And Garrison, thank you so much, brother, for, allowing me to co-host with you today. It's been a super blessed co-hosting with you and Elsa. So thank you. Yeah, thanks everyone. And thanks all of our panelists.
Thank you, Dr. Aaron. Thank you, Mr. Venkat. Thank you, Mr. Trevor.
Thank you all.
And thank you, Dr. Hua. Elsa Nguyen, you're a rock star. Tim, you're a rock star. Let's go. Let's grow. See you guys in Houston.